All right, I'm a flat rate master, and today we're talking about 5 tips for new technicians. We've all been there, we've all been new technicians. Some of us dealt with it better than others. Some of us come in with the attitude we know everything because we went to tech school and quickly learned that we don't know jack. But we're going to talk just 5 tips when you're starting as a technician. Number 1. This is the most important thing you can do as a new technician, or an old technician, or, well, anybody with a job. Show up on time, ready to work. If your job says you need to be there at 7:30, you need to be at the job, ready to work at 7:30. That means if it takes you 15 minutes to get ready to work, you need to be there 15 minutes early at 7:30, ready to work. All right, number 2, tools. You know you're going to need tools. Don't get drawn into getting into a bunch of debt on the tool truck. Don't. Just don't. You don't need tool truck tools to get started. Now there's times to upgrade tools. There's times to replace tools, but starting out, gear wrench, Vim tools, Harbor Freight. They have some good stuff. Don't be afraid to buy for your budget. Harbor Freight makes really good roll carts. There's currently 2 of them in the shop. Billy and John both have Harbor Freight roll carts. We recommended he get a Harbor Freight roll cart. He came from the aircraft industry, and he didn't have a toolbox or a roll cart because, well, that's not how they work at what he's doing. And unfortunately, we are losing John. He's going back. Delta called him back, so he is leaving the shop, but we will be missed, but he's leaving. Anyway, I digress. Don't be buying a huge toolbox. Don't be buying, thousands and thousands of dollars of Snap-on tools, Matco, Mac, Cornwell, whatever. Use your money wisely. Buy the tools you need, but buy them in affordable brands. Nothing else. You can take those home and upgrade your tools at the shop. But don't buy tools that you can't afford, because it's not going to end well. They still repo tools, trust me. Number 3, not planning your tool purchases. This is something I see way, way, way too often. I haven't seen it lately because most of the guys are pretty well equipped here in the shop, but I've seen it. Guy gets on the tool truck, ooh, I gotta have that. It's a tool you're going to use once, maybe twice a month. You can borrow that. How about you get the tool you actually need? Really important to figure out the tools that you are borrowing on a consistent basis. If you're having to borrow Torx bits, well, they should be on your high priority list to buy. If you're buying triple squares or you're borrowing, wrenches, well, think about it. Those tools may not be the glamorous, Milwaukee Impacts or any of that kind of stuff, but buy the tools you need, not buying on want. You want to buy on need. I did a whole video on it. I'll link it up there, but you want to buy on what you're going to need, not what you want. It sucks. I'm in a position where I can buy whatever the heck I want, and maybe you'll get there one day, but you got to start with the stuff you need, not the stuff you want. Number 4, manage your money. This is something that I preach on this channel, and I will continue preaching. Live below your means. Whatever your paycheck is, spend less. Save money. Save money. You know, start a savings account, start putting money aside. Trust me, stuff happens. You know, you can get hit by a bus. You can break a finger. You can get put out of work for a couple weeks. Start saving money. You know, you don't need that new whiz-bang phone if you have no money in the bank. It's important to manage your money so that if you're on flat rate, you've got money to, well, deal with a slow day or slow week. You need to have savings. Investments too, but you know, I'm not an investing channel, but you need to have money in reserve. So don't spend your entire paycheck. I know it's tempting. You're young. You might be living at home. Understand, you need to have money in reserve in case of. You might have to buy, you know, parts that you weren't expecting for your car to get to work. You might have to, you know, deal with other things. So always have money in reserve. On that same note, credit should be used responsibly. Do not rack up a bunch of credit card debt. Don't. I have 10, 11, maybe 12 credit cards. They're paid off. I have 0 credit card debt. Why? Because it's a bad idea paying 18 to 25% interest plus for spending you can't afford, because that's what it is don't do it. Don't get into credit card debt. I have those credit cards so I can travel on somebody else's dime. I use them for the rewards. I use my credit cards for all my purchases, pay them off every month, actually multiple times a month, and then use those, you know, rewards to go places. Like Scotland. That's where the hat came from. In case anybody was wondering, this was bought at the Lagavulin Distillery on Islay in Scotland. Don't get into a bunch of credit card debt. The last one is probably a little hard to hear.